Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu syarafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So we shall now continue with our lecture, Grand Secret 9. We have touched on the higher knowledge and secret. We have touched on the higher secret or higher knowledge with regard to death and then calamity. Today, we touch on predestination. Predestination. Now, this is just one of a description of predestination. Predestination is just like the ocean, and free will is just like the swarm of fish swimming freely in it. What does this phrase mean? It meant that we all is entitled to exercise of free will up to the maximum, you know. There is no restriction. But please understand that all your free wills are but within predestination. It's just that the fishes are freely to swim anywhere in the ocean, but they are still in the ocean. So, human being, you can exercise your free will at every part of the world, but still your free will being exercised in the world, not outside. And the world is under predestination because it will float in the orbit that has been fixed for it. So you can exercise your free will in any part of the world, but still is in the world. So it's like a fish. They can swim freely, no restriction, but still in the ocean. So predestination is like the ocean, and free will is like the fish swimming freely, but still in the ocean. So that is what this art clips trying to explain. Okay? So if you want to use it, I will explain. You can use it anytime you want to. Okay? Now, one thing, predestination. In every predestination, there is the ultimate purpose. It's not done at random. It is not done in a haywire ways. No. It is done in a proper way to achieve a certain purpose. Because Allah does not do things without purpose. Otherwise, He cannot become God. Everything He does has a purpose to it. You can see. Did you imagine that we created you without any purpose? He asking us, Allah said, hey, you think what? I created you no purpose. If that is the case, He cannot be God. That's why I said, did you imagine that I created you without purpose? And He, again in the Quran, said, we only created the heaven and the earth and everything in between for a purpose. There's a purpose in everything. So predestination. is the passage created to achieve a certain purpose. We see that later, okay? And he makes the sign clear for people of knowledge. So if you have come to the level that you don't exist, as Imam Ghazali said, that if you know yourself, you know your God, you did not exist. When you reach that station, you understood well that concept. The next thing is to be alert. Alert in the way or the movement of the Lok Mahfuz. And then you can learn from there the purpose. Why things are happening in the world before you. What are the purpose? You have to study this. Just like a banker, they will study the up and down of the movement of monies or shares or stocks. Then they could inevitably forecast whether certain shares, certain foreign exchanges will go up or down. Same for the Sufis. Once you reach and you understood the level I don't exist, that means the ball is not in your hand. The game is not with you. The game is the Almighty. So what are we supposed to do? Watch and see where the ball is rolling, what is going to happen. And this is the secret or the higher knowledge that will be open to you. Once you are acclimatized, understood well the concept, we don't exist. And you could forecast or foresee what will happen in the near future. Allah opened the secret and the higher level of knowledge to you. But you cannot interfere. That's why you see, you hear, but keep your mouth shut and pretend you don't know. That is the advice of Papande. Okay? Once you reach that, that's why Syekh Abdul Qadir Jani say, if doing good deeds are 10, 9 of 10, 9 out of 10 is to keep quiet. 9 out of 10. Because the Almighty God has favored you by opening the secret, the divine secret and higher knowledge. You are seeing not as a blind person. You are seeing with a spiritual eyes, which are open to this divine secrecy and knowledge. But you have to keep quiet, not to talk unless necessary, unless you want to teach. Otherwise, you have to mind your business, not to interfere in Allah's work. Okay? So he makes the sign clear for people who have knowledge. But once you knew, you have to keep quiet, not to speak. Like, go into this purpose and this predestination. You see, to meet a friend, hey, let's meet, have a coffee. Where? That coffee shop beside your house lah. I come in half an hour. We meet there, have coffee, okay? No, look, it's very simple. The coffee shop is just beside my house. My friend will walk down about 10 minutes, will meet me at the coffee shop. And I will to meet him at the coffee shop and drink coffee together. It's simple, nothing complicated. The wife asking, where are you going, hubby? I'm going to meet Solomon, waiting for me at the coffee shop. You mean the coffee shop next door? Yes. Nearby me. Wife also has no objection. Wait. But the complexity of it, behind that simplicity, is really mind-boggling. It's really far-fetched. It's really too remote to understand. Behind the simple meeting of two persons having a coffee at a coffee shop next to his house, it's a simple thing. But behind that simplicity, the complexity are really too great. Now, how complex it will be, let me tell you. Before these two persons can meet, Allah must have already commanded B. Jadi, kun B. There's already a command B that you both will meet at number one. And then there must be lineage. That means your ascendant from Adam coming down until our grandfather, our father, then us. There must be that lineage for us to meet. If along the way there's no lineage, there's no Adam and Eve, we cannot meet. Along the way, our father disappear, our mother disappear, we cannot meet. But there is no lineage, we will not be born. So there must be the lineage. So there must be first the command B, then the lineage coming down, great-grandfather, grandfather, father, then us. There must be that. Then the timing. When I meet my friend, I'm 33, my friend 32. So the timing, that at that point of time, I have to meet him, I must be 33 years old. And he must be 32 years old. The timing, it's already planned by Allah. The timing just nice. And then the condition, that is the place. The coffee shop must be there. And this coffee shop was just built 2 weeks ago. You see? And it was there, so you can meet. If it was not there, the meeting cannot be held at that place. And all this for what purpose? For the meeting of two persons. For a simple meeting of two persons, you must have the command B. You must have the lineage. You must have the timing correct. You must have the condition, that means the place there. That is the process. And the end product is a simple meeting of two persons to have coffee. See the complexity behind a simple meeting. Okay? And that is predestination. The complexity that have been arranged. So in the end, the purpose is achieved. That is predestination. The lineage is there. Our grandfather, my grandmother married, our parents married, and then we are born. the lineage there. And the timing of friend 32, I'm 33. That point of time we meet. The place was just built 1 week ago. And all this for the purpose of a simple meeting. But the complexity are already there, predetermined, and there is predestination. Okay. So we said we descend from the heaven to earth. That's Adam and Eve. If Adam and Eve were not commanded to go down to the earth, then there is no story of mankind in this world. There is no lineage. Okay? So, and then if there is no time, there's no time. So first the lineage. If there's no Adam and Eve, there's no mankind in this world. If there's no time, there's no birth. No birth. And then if there's no conditions that is necessary, conditions that are necessary, then there's no earth. No stage for the performance. Okay? So no Adam and Eve, no beginning. No timing, that means no birth, that means no actors. Then the condition not there, that means no earth, no state. And no purpose. The purpose becomes zero. All these events are predetermined for a purpose. And that is why Allah had commanded. Do you think I did things without any purpose? You see? So the meeting of two persons, a lot of complexity there. His ascendants must be there, or their ascendants must be there. They are born, and then the place is there, then the purpose, the meeting is achieved. Okay, so the complexity to achieve the purpose is saved by predestination. Everything has been fixed. Come the time, we all here will meet each other because already predestined. If not predestined, we will never meet. We will never meet. Secondly, predestination brings benefits. My plan is firm. That means whatever in the Lok Mahfuz is firm. No change at all. You will never find change in God's ways. No change will thou ever find in God's ways. Yeah, no deviation will thou ever find in God's ways. There will be no change. And that is predestination. And thanks God, there is no change. You know, just imagine if this is not predetermined, there is no predestination. Your wife left the room to go market. Amina went to market, your wife, and come back, become Amin, you know. There will be big problems there. Hey, that's how you went off, Amina. Hey, how come you become man, Amin? Oh, there is no predestination, so I can change. See the problem? Huh? Your cat come back, become tiger. And the monkey come back, become squirrel. Because there's no predestination. Or an elephant, a deer gave birth to an elephant. All her stomach destroyed. Okay, all her uterus destroyed. So thanks God, there is predestination and there's no change. And nothing has been omitted from the book. Everything is recorded. So there will not be any mishap at all. So you see this slogan, predestination keeps Armageddon, that means Kiamah, at bay. Predestination. If there is no predestination, the planet now start colliding with one another. We are finished. Because it's predestination, the planet keep in their orbit and we survive. So predestination keeps Armageddon at bay. Okay. So you see that orbits, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Ceres, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Charon, and 203 UB, there's another planet. They orbit in their orbital sphere. They do not cross one another. That is because predestined. And that's why they stated in the description, in the slogan, that predestination keeps Armageddon at bay. Okay. So that is the benefit of it, one of it. And then the first we have mentioned that is general benefit. Specific benefit is the universe. You see, if the sun is 20% less or is 20% more massive, if it's less 20%, we become colder than Mars. If 20% more massive, we become hotter than Venus and we can't survive. It's just nice, predetermined, the temperature for the Earth, just nice. So you see, as we move from the Earth, which is perfectly fitted for human life, because of predestination, is perfectly fitted for human life. Beyond the atmosphere into space, we come across freezing cold, the outer space, freezing cold. What we are just nicely fitted, 20% less massive than the Mars, and 20% not more massive than become like Venus. Just nice. The world is protected from the freezing cold of space. It's around minus 270 degrees, okay, by the help of atmosphere. So we can see also the atmosphere only lets rays, the sun rays, required for life reach the earth. So only those rays that we are required to survive, not more than that, are allowed to enter and reach earth. If all the rays come in, allowed, I will burn to death. Only that required rays that are allowed. How can this be achieved? Predestination. Okay. So atmosphere only lets ray required for life reach the earth. Ultraviolet rays, for example, make it to the world only partially. If full, we are gone. This is the most appropriate range to allow plants to make photosynthesis and eventually for all living things to survive. And this, how this can be acquired? Predestination. Okay. Most of the fundamental constant in our theories appear fine-tuned. Everything will be fine-tuned. In the sense, if they are altered by only a modest amount, we cannot survive. So the atmosphere is altered slightly, we are gone. The universe would be qualitatively different, and many cases unsuitable for development of life. So the way the earth is, the situation, the condition, we cannot alter. It must be in that manner. in whatever situation. How is it possible? Predestination. The coincidences of planetary conditions, the single sun, the lucky combination of Earth and Sun distance and solar mass, far less remarkable and far less compelling as evident that the Earth was carefully designed just to please us human beings, or just to make sure we can live. It's carefully designed. So how is it carefully designed and kept in this way for centuries? Predestination. Okay, no change. So you can see the sun and the distance, the planet from the sun, and the distance between planets. These are kept fixed for centuries. How is it possible? Predestination. So Allah had commanded in the Quran, it's not for the sun to overtake the moon. No way the sun can overtake the moon. Nor does the night outstrip the day. Neither the night can take over the day. Cannot. Or vice versa. They float each in an orbit. They have to follow what have been predestined. Okay, so you cannot suddenly sun become moon and the moon become sun, or night become day, day become night. Suddenly it cannot be done because of predestination. So you can see here, and even the top level of our Earth, the magnetosphere layer formed by the magnetic field of the Earth serves as a shield protecting the Earth from any dropping from the universe. It can be iron, it can be the space stones, which are so many, meteorites, whatnot. And these are falling from the sky, from the universe, falling towards Earth. But that magnetosphere that stop this thing that drop towards Earth enter our space. Okay, it serves as a shield protecting the Earth from these celestial bodies, harmful cosmic rays and particles. Okay, this also magnetosphere, also sometimes called Van Allen belt. This belt, 1,000 kilometers surrounding the Earth, they protect the Earth from the fatal energy that would otherwise reach us from the space and kill us. Because a lot of dropping from the space, stone, meteorites, and the ray from the sky and so on. And the sun sometimes blasts fire towards us. They call it sunstorm and all that. And this magnetosphere or Van Allen belt stop this from entering into Earth, and we are safe. Now, how can they stop all this? Predestination. Allah predestined them to protect us. Same if you learn the veil of light that's surrounding the low mahfuz. The veil of light protect the low mahfuz from the essence outside. How is it possible, the veil of light protecting the low mahfuz from the essence outside? Predestination. Then the celestial bodies wandering in space could pose a serious threat to us. Sure, all this big chunk of stone, volcano, not volcano, I mean stone, or the size is like a hill roaming around in outer space. If this at any time hit Earth, we are gone, man. Yet God, who creates most perfectly, has made the atmosphere a protective roof. Thanks to this special protection, most meteorites are not able to penetrate the Earth's protection, and they are destroyed outside the Earth. They fall to pieces in the atmosphere outside before reaching Earth. How can this happen? Predestination. There I told you, the energy of the sun burst is so powerful that the human mind would hardly comprehend. Right? The power of the sun, the burst, the light, the ray, the single burst of the sun, you look at it, a single burst of the sun is equivalent to 100 billion atomic bomb exploded at a given time, at one time. A single burst, that means like sunstorm, and that storm reaching Earth, if that burst hits Earth, it is just like 100 billion atomic bomb. God, we will be destroyed to pieces, maybe nothing left. But the world is protected by these Van Allen belts or manosphere. Okay. How is it possible? Predestination. And Allah in the Quran say, by heaven, which is cyclical system. At least Al-Tariq. Al-Tariq is a very interesting verse. Al-Tariq is the knock. And this in the Quran is mentioned that there will be sound of knocking from the outer space. And this Chinese astronaut went outer space and came back and told the world, I heard knocking in outer space. Then he showed this Al-Tariq. Allah mentioned the knocking in the space. But that's aside. There are troposphere, there are ionosphere, and there are magnetosphere. Let's see. The troposphere, there is 13 to 15 kilometers above the Earth. Enable water vapor rising from the Earth to be condensed, then went up to the Earth, condensed, and then fall down as rain. So there's a ionosphere. This reflects the radio wave. That means if we send a radio wave to the space, it hit the space, the outer layer of the Earth, it will reflect, it will come back again. So that's where we got our frequency for radios, for internet, whatnot, because if you send the radio wave, it hit the outer part of the Earth and it revert back. Okay, So you see, ionosphere reflects radio wave broadcast of the Earth back down to a different part of the world, just like a passive communication satellite, and thus make wireless communication, radio, televisions, and so on possible. Magnetosphere, that is what we had explained just now, turn the harmful radioactive particle emitted by the sun and stars in the outer space. That means they stop this from reaching us. Yeah? So the fact that this property of the atmosphere layers that was only demonstrated in recent years was already announced in the Quran. It's already there in the Quran. And then we have one, which is ozone layer, an altitude of 25 kilometers above the troposphere, reflect harmful radiation and ultraviolet light coming from space and turn both back, revert it back to space. That is the ozone layer. How this possible? Predestination. There's troposphere, you see, the ray come in and send back in red color. Then you see that ozonosphere, the same thing. Then you have the ionosphere, and that is where we have satellite, radio wave, and so on. And there in the Quran, Allah says, we made the sky a preserved and protected roof, yet still they turn away from our sign. And you see this already written 1,400 years ago. Only now science found it in 19th century. True, there is a protective capabilities of the sky. Only in the 19th centuries. Okay. And Allah said, it is God who sent the wind which stir up clouds, which he spread above the sky. However he wills, he formed them into dark clouds, and you see the rain come pouring out from the middle of them. And this 1,400 years written in the Quran to say that, the wind will bring the vapor up to the cloud, push the vapor up to the cloud, and the cloud accumulate this vapor and become heavy, and then there will the rain fall. Only now we know. How rain form remained a great mystery for a long time. Only after weather radar was invented was it possible to discover the stages by which rain is formed. But in the Quran, it's already stated. Okay? But how this mechanism works, that the wind will push the vapor up, the vapor go into the cloud, accumulated and fall as rain. How this mechanism work? Predestination. Okay, so we have rain all the time, and you see that the wind, the water vapor rise up, and then you have the rain. And you see the other one also, very interesting. Whatever vapors go up, vapors are water in form of vapors. Vapors, whatever vapors go up, the same amount of water will come down. And that is fantastic. Okay? This means that water continuously circulate in balanced measure. Okay? You can see here, that's the diagram. 16,000 tons go down, or 16 million tons go up. 16 million tons will go down. You see, it's so exact, this up and the same amount will go down all the time. You see? How is this possible? Predestination. Okay. That is one of the benefits, the universe, and then the other benefit is the features. We look at our features. Oh my God. If it's not, the nose is not fixed as it is now, the next day you can't find your nose. Where my nose gone? I'm behind. Why are you doing behind? Because it's not fixed so I can move. Or your mouth will move. You want to eat. Hey, where my mouth? I'm sorry. I have your abdomen. Why you go to the abdomen? Because it's not fixed. I can move. Thanks Allah. It is all being fixed, predetermined, predestined. So we know where our nose, our ear, our mouth, and so on is fixed. So be thankful of predestination. And you can see chicken egg will hatch a chicken. It will never hatch a duck. Thanks God for that. Otherwise, you want to breed chicken and come out duck. Or a sheep will give birth to a sheep. Elephant will give birth to an elephant. Can you imagine a sheep giving birth to an elephant? That is horrendous, is it? Similar, the features of the wood will be softer than the stone. Stone will be softer than the iron. Similarly, the cotton is softer than the snow, and the snow is softer than hot water. Okay? Now, these are features that have been fixed. Let's take iron. If it's not fixed to be strong, you have building swaying, left and right. Why is the building swaying? Because the iron decide today it doesn't want to be strong, so it sways. Tomorrow it decide to be strong. Then okay, swaying. So thanks God, predestination is there, so you can trust your building with iron foundation, whatnot, because it will remain that way. So for a mother also, it found out the mother milk is very good for a child. Okay, you can see every day a new benefit of mother's milk to the baby is discovered. One of the facts that science has discovered about mother milk is that suckling up to 2 years after birth is very beneficial. And this was already discovered recently, right? But it's already told in the Quran 1,400 years ago. His mother bore him by bearing strain upon strain, and his weaning was in 2 years. So they stated in the Quran, 2 years. The benefit only sign found now that the baby suckling of the mother milk up to 2 years after birth is very beneficial. But what if the baby, the impetus to go on sucking the mother milk up to 2 years? What caused the mother milk to be beneficial to the baby? Predestination. Okay. And does man think that we cannot assemble his bone? Nay, we are able to put together in perfect order the very tip of his finger. Hey, that is talking about our thumbprint. Thumbprint. Only in the 19th century that they found out the feature of the fingerprint, which fingerprint are accepted as very important proof of identity, exclusive to their owner. So each one of us has different fingerprint, okay? And this only discovered 19th century, when already 1,400 years ago, already mentioned the perfect order, the very tip of his finger. But how? Why this fingertip or thumbprint? Is a very important aspect of our hands, that it becomes an exclusive identity of a person. Predestination. So everyone have different thumbprint. So everyone, including identical twins, has a unique fingerprint, never the same, even identical twins. In other words, people's identities are coded at their fingertip, a thumbprint. This coding system may also be compared to the barcode system that is used today in export and import products. Same. Another thing, predestination. God created everything in pairs. So every sickness have its cure, okay? So everything in pairs. Every article has antiparticles and opposite charge, and so on and so on. So it sort of support each other. So you have, see, two in a pair, you have animals also in a pair. You see bird or swans in a pair, fish in a pair, and human being also created in a pair. And so when we read about the story about Noah and his ark, before the flood started, God commanded Noah to call the animal in pairs to enter into his vessel before the flood comes. So all in pairs. So this is very important. How come that everything are built in pairs? Because of predestination, that what God wanted. So you have positive, negative. You have battery, negative terminal, positive terminal blended with each other. And you have the yin and yang, positive and negative. So everything made in pairs. At one time, science thought the sex of a baby, whether it's a boy or girl, depends on the sperm of the mother. Later on, they found out that it depends on the sperm of the father. Because the sperm of the mother only got X chromosome. You call it, let me see, what's the word they use it? Chromosome, right? X. But for the male, they got X and Y. So it is the Y chromosome which is not available in the female chromosome that tell us whether the boy is, the infant is a boy or a girl. Okay, so at one time they thought it was a female one sign. Later on they say, it depends on the father. But in the Quran, Allah didn't say it's male or female semen, but it says from a drop of semen which has been ejected. That means you look at the semen, whether they have this chromosome X and Y or X. That decides the gender of the baby. Okay? So you can see here, the Y chromosome carries characteristic of masculinity, while the X chromosome carries those of femininity. In the mother X, there's only X chromosome, which determine the female characteristic. In the semen from the father, there is a sperm that include X or Y. Okay? So it can be a girl or boy. The father's semen could tell it. So it is from the sperm ejected, you check there is X or Y or X. That will determine the baby gender, and the Quran is already stated there. Was he not once a drop of ejected semen? He made his progeny from an extract of discarded fluid, the semen. We created man from a mingled drop to test him. From a mingled drop, that is semen. Okay? As we have seen, the Quran informs us that man is made not from the entire semen, but only a part of it, that's either X or Y. That the particular emphasis in this statement announces a fact only discovered by modern science is evident that the statement is divine and original. That aside, but how can it be ascertained that you get the Y, you got boy, you get the X, you get girl? How is it ascertained? Predestination. Predestination, okay? So that is the second part, the features from predestination, and then the time. Everything had been divinely predestined. An event which is slated to occur earlier cannot be later, and vice versa. And this is very important. You can't have a baby born grandfather and die an infant. You know? You can, it's everybody child born infant and then die grandfather. It cannot be the other way around. Hey, born grandfather with beard, and then slowly become infant and die. Cannot be done. That's what the Quran says. But how is this possible? Divinely predestined. Similarly, we see the changes in development. You see the TV itself. At one time, it's very big, massive. You have to have 4 people carry, the TV. Now, very slim, very light. The changes from one civilization to another, step by step. How is it possible? Predestination, you can see by time. So you have spring, summer, autumn, winter. It's always that way. It will not be jumbled up because predestination. You can see just born, 3 years old, 10 years old, 16 years old, 60 years old. Then he bring you forth as children. Then he ordains that you reach maturity, and then that you grow old. That's predestination. It cannot be reversed because that is predestination. And Allah said, no, but between them we brought into many generations, and long was their span of life. So in between we have a lot of generation, and so we have a lot of development. You see, in Singapore, 1950, the kampong house, 1960, the old terrace houses, 1970, the development start, and 2000, everything there. Okay? And you see the old car, 1950, 1980, that car, over 1980, and 2020, the new car. And in the future, we have a car that can fly. Who were created and further given order and proportions. This all predestined. We can't change. Okay. Similarly, you see the taxi, the old taxi, the bus, and now you have the MRT, and you see akan datang. next change, you have a taxi by cable car, okay, by cable, and you see again helicopter, and then you see the what you call it, aerobus, rocket, and in the future you have the space craft. This is from time to time the changes took place. It cannot be overturned. It must go in that manner. A child being born, become boy, become man, become old. It is that way. You can't change it. Why? Predestination. Okay? So that is another one. The timing is fixed, cannot change because of predestination. Predestination also bring about conquest. You see, and he has subjected to you as from him all that is in the heaven and on earth. So everything in heaven and earth, we will subjugate them, overcome them, because God has said everything in heaven and earth will be subjected to us. And you can see Allah has caused the ship that sail through the seas. He has made the ship subdued, subservient to us, the sea. At one time, the sea wrecked a lot of sails. Many people, thousands died. Nowadays, you have a vessel made out of iron, and then you have all the ships, what you call this thing, the boxes, what you call it, where you put all the containers. And this ship that carried the containers, these ships are like 4 football fields inside. That big. The size of the ship that carry these containers are like 4 football fields and made up of iron and move through the water and never sink, because Allah has made the sea subdued by us or subservient to us. And Allah has also made the animal subservient to us. You see all the animal in the zoo subservient to us. And Allah has also made the wind subservient to us. Okay? And even the sun and so on. So you can see here, animal in the zoo subdued by us. And they see this lady. It's a lady, it's not a man. This is a lady, she climbed a mountain and no safety rope, just with her hand and leg. My God, I will not want my son to marry her, frightening. And she climbed, oh my God, with a finger, and leg, no safety rope. Woman, But because Allah had given His command that you will subdue everything in earth and in heaven, so we could, or she can do it, or any human can. And you can see this ship is a cruise, it's a 5-star hotel, on a vessel, travel on the sea. It's a 5-star hotel with casino, with swimming pool on inside. Right? And so you see the weight, and yet it can float onto the ocean because we subdue the ocean. Okay? And then now we will fly through the atmosphere, no parachute, man. They use this squirrel kind of cloth, and then they float. You can see they can float just like that. And they show they landed on sponge, landed on sponge. Okay. We subdue the wind. Okay. And in future, we will subdue the outer space. And that is called the Kardashev scale. The Kardashev scale is a method of measuring a civilization level of technology advancement based on the amount of the energy that we need for the civilization. Okay. So they have type 1, type 2, type 3. Type 1, we use our energy now, the fossil energy that they found in the earth. But type 2, they use energy of the star. Can you imagine that? And type 3, they use the energy of the galaxy. And this is scientists, Michio Kaku and others, has put up this Kardashev scale. We are now at civilization 1. We use all the oil that we found. These are from the fossil. When this gone, we're going up there to conquer the outer space and keep our civilization and colonies up there. How are they going to get the energy? Do we control of Neptune, Jupiter, whatnot? How we for the Mars? The next one, the resources will be used from the star. We're going to harness the star. And then if we go further up, how? We're going to harness the galaxy. Is this possible? Yes, look at the Quran, what Allah said. And He caused to be subservient to you the night time and the daytime and the sun, the moon, and the stars. Already predestined, already promised by Allah. So in time, we will conquer outer space and subdue the sun, the moon, and the stars, but also the galaxies. And we will eventually use the power from the sun, the moon, the stars, and the galaxy to carry on our civilization. But how this happen? Predestination. Predestination that helps us to occupy, conquer the space and so on. Inshallah, we continue next week on this. But that will be end for today. But we're going into the achieving enlightenment. But first, I go back to the coordinator, Bayu, and then asking him to give us about 20 minutes to lead you all for achievement of enlightenment. Bayu, yes.
Ya, terima kasih Ustadz. Alhamdulillah, sahabat semuanya. Baru saja kita simak tazkirah dari Ustadz. Semoga kita semua diberikan kepahaman. Sekarang enlightenment lagi ya Ustadz ya?
Ya.
20 menit Ustadz?
Yes.
Ya. Oke, silakan Ustadz.
Now, achieving enlightenment is very important. That's the basic of a Sufi. You must achieve this. And I must tell you, I have, Alhamdulillah, with God's grace, managed to help people with medical conditions. But how did I help them? They must attend the lesson. They must achieve this enlightenment. And then once they got this, the power is with them. And they must build up the power in them to cure themselves. It's not that I cure them, no, they cure themselves, but they must attend the lecture and achieve this enlightenment. With this enlightenment, the power, spiritual power is there. And you can harness it to build up your spiritual strength. And then you will cure yourself. It has been done many, many a time. Okay? I'm not like an ordinary bomo come to you and read something you're cured. I teach you to know Allah. I teach you to receive the internal strength from Allah. And you build it. Build it. You need this inner strength because every time you OBE, you can ask my friend Mr. Ibrahim, every time you OBE, you may meet those evil forces and they want to fight. You don't have this strength, this spiritual strength. They may even kidnap you and do a lot of nonsense for you. So you must have this inner strength, not only to keep sorcery at bay, but to make sure you meet this unsavory character, you can win over them because of your spiritual strength. So that is the way I help people to overcome whatever sorcery they face, whatever sickness they have, to build inner strength and at the same time to hold on to Allah for His indulgence and assistance. So enlightenment will change one from a person who is unruly, a person who's wild, a person who's aimlessly in life, so aimless, a person who's narcissistic, and so on, to be a beautiful person. It's like an ugly caterpillar become a beautiful butterfly. That's enlightenment. You see, enlightenment to Gautama Buddha change from the prince become, and they say it's a prophet before our prophet. So you can see this type, this Sikh, the Sikhism, they have their master, what you call it, Guru Nanak, same also, enlightenment. That's why in the Sikhism temple, the dome is just like the mosque. And inside you don't have idol. So we had seen on TV a Muslim got confused, entered the Sikh place and prayed. After he finished praying, he looked around. Hey, this Sikh temple, he quickly walk off. You see? And they don't eat pork and whatnot. Okay. So enlightenment for them is individual, a few, and yet far in between. You know, but for us, thousands we had assisted to be enlightened. Thousands, because we started from 1990. That is 32 years. Thousands. Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, London, China, Australia, Brunei, Sarawak, even Sabah. Enlightenment changed one for the better. But you must be ready to accept. You must be ready. You must be seeking it. Then you get it. That's why in the Bible say you seek and the door will open. So you too. So to seek is, we always stress on the certainty of knowledge. With the certainty of knowledge, you have certainty of vision, even though you don't see it. Like you see, you have certainty of knowledge of your house, right? Huh? Every one of you, right? Even you sit here, you can see inside your house. Am I correct? You can see your bedroom. You can tell me where. Your kitchen and your sitting room. There is certainty of vision. How come you can see this? Because you have certainty of knowledge. You get me? So what is the certainty of knowledge in Sufism? The first thing is that when Allah commanded be, a subtle part of himself appeared, called Tajali appeared. Okay? A subtle part of him, still part of him, still part of him, a subtle part of him, still a part of him. It's just like, for example, the tail of an elephant and the elephant. The tail of the elephant is still part of the elephant. When he said be, a subtle part of him appeared. And this subtle part of him, when Allah said, let there be light, this subtle part become manifested and become light. And that is where the essence is created, manifested. When the subtle part of him lighted, that become the manifestation of the essence. And from the essence, the forms are created. So look, there are three things you must remember. The first thing is the subtle part of God. Subtle part. When you say be, the subtle part of him appeared. Then from the subtle part of him, it manifested, become the essence. And from the essence come all the forms, including space and time. These three is certainty of knowledge. So if you get rid of the form, you have the essence. You get rid of the essence, you have the subtle part of him. That you cannot get rid because it is part of Allah. That is eternal. That is the last. That's why he's the last. So you see, like the elephant tail, the tail is still part of the elephant. So the subtle part of it is still part of him. So you can get rid of mentally, you can get rid of the form, you can get rid of the essence, but at the end, you are facing the subtle. Remember, he cannot show that part of him to us. We all will go gone, destroyed. But the fact that when you see, it's slightly so, you can see your sitting hall at home. Okay, you push it aside. Then you see the door. And you know that is my room. The closed door behind is my room. I know it's my room. Because how can you know there's a closed door? I know because I have the knowledge. Same thing. If I get rid of the essence, how do you know that last part is his subtle self? I know because I got the certainty of knowledge. You get me? Now, if you can do that, get rid of the form, get rid of the essence, then you know you are facing him, the subtle part of him. That one he cannot show you, otherwise we're gone. But you know you are looking at him. Because there is no other. This is my room. Nobody room. It's my room. There's no other room. My room. I know. I know I'm still looking at you, Lord. Although I don't see you, I know I'm looking at you. And I know you are looking at me. Because there's no other existence except you, which are eternal. But I know I can't see you with two eyes, but I know you exist. It is impossible. You don't exist. You don't exist. I don't exist. So when I get rid of the form, including space and time, and get rid of the essence, I know I'm facing you. By hook or by crook, I know I'm facing you. I know you can show yourself, but I know I'm facing you, oh Lord. And you must feel you are before him. You must feel it. And that's where the tears come down. I show you. Okay? So there is his face, the container. The container. Yeah? Sometimes they call it the face, sometimes the container. When he say be, his container come, appear. There is a subtle part of him. Okay? And then from there, part of it become his essence, manifested, become his essence. Okay? And from the essence come the form. Okay, that's the form. Okay, so you see the three-step container, the essence, the form, and then you are there. And you are looking at the form, and you know behind the form is the essence, and behind the essence is the container. That is certainty of knowledge. You're right. Can follow this one. Clear, everybody, clear. Right. Now what you do, you destroy the form, the room, before you destroy it. I mean, annihilate it, make it perish. Then you are facing the essence. Then you annihilate the essence. Now you're facing him. And you can't annihilate the container because it's part of God. It's eternal. And you know you are facing him, though you didn't see, because it's impossible that he didn't exist. You exist. He exists, but he doesn't want to show himself to you. Otherwise, his power will destroy everything. So he didn't show, but you know you are looking at him 100%. And you see what happened and what he says here. Okay, he says, Though I can't see you, O Allah, though I can't see you, O Allah, but I certainly know that you exist. And right now, you are looking at me. Because there's no others is facing the condemnation. Although I can't see you, but I know right now you're looking at me. And then you see their eyes overflowing with tears because of what they have recognized of the truth. Because when you annihilate everything, you know you are looking at him, and that is the truth. And therefore, you see, I am seeing you, Allah, and the tears stop. And that is the enlightenment. You know, just shiver. I know you are there. I know, because you exist. Although I don't see you with my eyes, but I know you exist, and you are before me and looking at me. Anything else is annihilated, but you is eternal. And I'm seeing you, Allah. So yes, do away with the form. He does away with all the form. He does away with all the essence. But he cannot do away with the containment that is part of God, which is eternal. But even though he's facing the containment of Allah, he cannot see it because the power will destroy him. Okay? Power destroy him. Okay? But he knows that he's seeing the Almighty because nothing exists, nothing more exists except his content. And I'm facing you, Allah. Even though I didn't see you, I am facing you. I know you are there because you exist. I know you are there. I know you are looking at me. And this is the truth. And then you cannot stop from crying. And that is where Allah said in the Quran, you see their eyes overflowing with tears because they now understood the truth. What is the truth? After you annihilate the form, after you annihilate the essence, you are facing the containment of God that is eternal and permanent. And that is the truth. When nothing exists, that left is my container. I'm facing it, Allah. I know I'm facing you because you exist. When nothing else exists, you exist. I'm looking at you, even though I don't see you, but I know you are there because you exist. And when you recognize the truth, you start crying. Oh, I'm seeing you, oh Allah. And that just start to fall. Okay, so once you can see the truth and it hit you right in your gut, this fact, irrebuttable fact that you're looking at him, hit you in the gut, you realize this is the truth. I'm looking at him when nothing else exists. I know I'm looking at him because he exists. Everything perishes except him. Is content. I'm looking at him, and that is the truth. The truth is I'm looking at him. That is the truth when nothing else exists. And if that truth you can feel the truth, it hit you in your gut. I think you can hold your tears. Your tears will start falling down. and really you felt that you are not worth a cent at all before him, a worthless creature before the mighty Lord. And that's where you cry your heart out. You say, oh my God, I'm before him all the time. So the Sufi, all the time they annihilate the form. They annihilate the essence. All the time they are facing the container of God that is eternal, that exists, undoubtedly exists, irrebuttably exists. And he's facing the truth. When nothing exists, then he exists. And I'm facing him, and he's looking at me. And that is the truth, the irrebuttable truth. That the truth that positively, absolutely, that is the truth. When you annihilate the form, annihilate the essence, you are facing him because he exists. So even though you don't see him, but you know because he exists, he's before you and it's looking at you. So as I said, you can annihilate your sitting hall. You can annihilate your kitchen. And then you come to a door. You know that is your room. I know behind the door is my room. I know it. That is the truth. Similarly, you annihilate the form. Annihilate the essence. You see blank. You know behind that blank is him. He is looking at you behind that supposedly blank. Similarly, you competency that behind the door is my room. I have the knowledge. That is my room. It exists. I annihilate the sitting hall. I annihilate the kitchen. And the door, I know behind it is my room because I have knowledge of it. Certainty of knowledge. You annihilate the form. You annihilate the essence. You see blank. You know behind him, behind that blank, is him. He just doesn't want to show himself, otherwise you'll be destroyed. But you know for certainty is him because of certainty of knowledge. Certainty of knowledge. So wherever you turn, how to escape? There is his content. And this is truth. You can't deny the truth. And that truth hit you in your gut. That makes us go, we fall flat on our face and repent whatever sin we have done. And we change, become a better person. And become God-fearing. And be part of his humble servant. And that is the truth. After you annihilate everything, in the end, left him there alone. And you can't annihilate him because he's eternal. So even though you didn't see him, but you know with certainty of knowledge, he is there, you are facing him because he exists and is eternal. Similarly, you know behind the room, behind the door is my room. I know it's certainty of knowledge. And then you must feel, you know the truth. The truth might hit you in your gut. You feel it. You feel its existence. Then the tears will follow. And that's where Allah says, you see their eyes overflowing with tears because of what they have recognized as the truth. And what is the truth? I'm seeing you, Allah. I'm seeing you, Allah. I'm seeing you, Allah, because you exist. I'm seeing you even though I didn't see you with my two eyes, but I know you are there. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. And you are looking at me. Feel that it's looking at you. And that will shock you to the bone. So I hope those who have been with me tonight can see the truth. And I hope the truth has shake you to the bone. And the holistic tears will fall from it. So I stop here. Thank you very much. Back to Bayu. Wish you wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.